Okay, so today we'll continue with the civics chapter, the Indian Constitution, and we'll have a look at the working of the Constitution. Now, the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly, it was held on 9th December 1946, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he was chosen as the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Then one more committee was made, and that was the drafting committee. So a committee of 8 members was formed, and their work was to make a rough copy of the constitution, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was the chairman of the drafting committee. And by February 1948, the draft constitution, it was ready, and so they invited suggestions onto it, and then they made the necessary changes in the original draft. Then on November 4th 1948, the draft constitution, it was presented before the members of the Constituent Assembly. So the 8-member committee, first they drafted the constitution and they took suggestions on it, and then on 4th November 1948, it was presented to the Constituent Assembly, and here the Constituent Assembly discussed the constitution for about a year, and then finally signed. The constitution was finally signed by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949, and it was decided that they would, so though it was adopted on 26th November 1949, but it was decided that they will enforce the constitution on 26 January 1950. And after this, for the first time, elections were held, and Jawaharlal Nehru, he was chosen as the first Prime Minister, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he became the first president of our country. Now, various in our constitution, various items as to which show that how the country would be governed, now they are given in the constitution in the form of articles, and then we have also schedules in the constitution. Now what are these schedules? The schedules are basically statements which are included in the constitution, and they give a clear and a detailed meaning to the articles. So articles are there, and to explain the articles we have schedules in the constitution. And now what is there in the constitution? Now the constitution is a very lengthy document, so if we want to know that what can we find in the constitution, we can get a glimpse, a look of that by looking at the preamble to our constitution. Now what is a preamble? It is like an introduction to the constitution, just like you have a preface in a book. So in the same manner, we have a introduction to the constitution, which is called as the preamble. Now let's see what the preamble to the Indian constitution it looks like. And the preamble reads like that: we the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India. So it is not that this constitution is enforced on us by someone else. You know, we had been under the rule of the Britishers for about approximately 200 years, but now, you know, India was free, we were independent, and so the people themselves, the people, they themselves have resolved, they have taken this upon themselves that they will make India a sovereign country, a socialist country, a secular, democratic republic, and they want that all citizens in India, they should have justice, social, economic, and political. Everyone should have liberty, means freedom of thought and expression, and also freedom of belief, faith, and worship. We can follow any religion of our choice. Then we not only we have equality of status, but also equality of opportunity. And then it is the ideal of the constitution to promote brotherhood, fraternity among all the people, and also to ensure that everyone has dignity, means the dignity of any person is not compromised, and at the same time the unity of the country is also secure. So, and this, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. So this constitution, the people of India, they have themselves taken, and no one has given or no one has enforced it on them. Now, why is this preamble so important? Because it declares that what is the main objective of our country, what we want to achieve, what are the aspirations of the people of our country. Now all that we get here, and on what ideals the whole constitution is based on, which ideals the whole, all the laws and provisions in the constitution are framed, that we can get a look at, having a look at the preamble. Now let's have a look at some of the main terms that we have in the preamble. The first is sovereign. We had a look that we the people of India, we have solemnly resolved, we have resolved that we will make India a sovereign country. So what does that mean? Now the words we the people of India, they have their own significance, and now it it tells us that the sovereignty means that the freedom rests with the people of the country. And a nation is sovereign. When is a nation sovereign? When it is free in its internal matters to decide what to do, and there is no interference from any outside. So we are sovereign when we are able to rule ourselves as we wish without any foreign interference. And so we are a sovereign country, and the elected representatives, they have the power to make laws and to impose taxes on them. And no one else outside our country can make laws for us. So sovereign means we are free to rule ourselves as we wish in our country. All right, no external influence or pressure on us, no one is forcing anything on us. Then socialist. Now the word socialist, it was added to the preamble later on, and this was to just stress the fact that socialism and economic justice, it is desirable for the country. Now socialism basically means that all the means of production, means the things that you require to produce anything. Now that means wealth, capital, and you need land, you need energy, you need raw materials, everything. Now they should be not in the hands of few individuals, capitalists, but they should be in the hand of society as a whole. And then the profit that particular factory or mill makes, that should be distributed among the people. And so we don't follow that the means of production should be in the hands of the country and all. And but still we strive that everyone should have an equitable distribution of wealth. Equal distribution of wealth is not possible, because everyone has different talents, different skills, different education, and so same salary, same income is not possible. But it is the aspiration of India that all the people should have equitable distribution of wealth. That means that everyone should have so much money that they should have a decent standard of living. Okay, so our constitution, it aims at establishing a socialist society. What it means that it aims to provide measures through which the economic difference may be reduced, and they also try to reduce the difference which we have among the rich and the poor. Okay, then India is a secular country. Now the word secular, it was put in the preamble, it was not there early on, it was put in the preamble to the constitution, to the 42nd amendment. And this was simply to put it against, state again and strongly the faith of the nation, that that Indian politics is above religion. All right, that Indian politics, it should stay above all the petty small religion considerations, and equal respect is given to all the religions here in India. And no discrimination is made on the basis of a religion of a person, and so anyone can follow any religion of their choice. There is no state religion. Our country, it does not endorse any one particular religion, so people are free to choose their religion, to follow it, to profess it, to propagate it, and on the basis of religion, no one can be discriminated. So everybody is equal before law and they enjoy equal rights, no matter to whichever religion, caste, color, or race they belong to. Okay, then India is a democratic country, and we have chosen democracy as a way of life in our country. And now it does not mean that only we are talking about political democracy, means through that is how we will be ruled, but we also strive to achieve social and economic democracy. And in our country, equality is provided. So we have universal adult franchise, and the right to vote is given to all adult population. And why? Because it would be better. So though we have political equality, but we are striving to get even social and economic democracy, or social and economic equality in our country as well. So we are striving to achieve that. We have already political equality, but we strive to achieve social and economic equality also in our country. Okay, then republic. We have already talked about it. What is republic? A republic is a country, is a nation where the head of the country is a elected person and not a hereditary ruler. And this is very important because we have been under the control of the Britishers for so long. Okay, and but now we are free, and we have an elected person to rule over us. And we have the Indian president. He is the head of our Indian state, and he is a elected person. He is an elected leader, and though his election is indirect, means he is not directly elected by the people, but the president is elected by the members of the Lok Sabha, the Raj Sabha, and of the state legislative assemblies. But the president is not a hereditary ruler like the king or the queens. Okay, next we have justice. Now, what does justice mean? It means that treating everyone equally without any special rights or advantages giving to any other person, or without any prejudice. Means sometimes we have ideas or notions about somebody or something which are not based on reason. We may not have met that person, we may not know a person, but we might have certain ideas or opinion about that person. So justice is what? It is the quality when we try to treat everyone equally without giving any special advantage to anyone, special right to anyone, or without having preconceived notions about anyone. And now this justice, it also ensures that everyone will have equal opportunities. Means everyone will have equal opportunities according to what he is capable of. And now Indians, we have already suffered so much because of the injustice that was done to us under the colonial period. And so that is why the preamble, it lays so much stress on justice, because for long justice has been denied to us. And so justice, when we talk about justice, it should not be limited that only few people are having it, but justice should be all pervading. Means it should reach all, and it should touch not only the political aspect but also the social as well as economic aspect. Okay, the next term that we have here is liberty. Now liberty, it means freedom, and it means freedom of thought. Means we are free to think as we wish, and we have freedom of expression means we are free to express our views, our thoughts. So you can do it through words, you can do it through painting, you can do it through writing. All right, and so you are free to express yourselves, you are free to choose any profession that you want, you are free to choose any faith, any religion, any belief, any form of worship that you want. So we are free to do all this, and every citizen, they should be free to hold on to any belief. All right, like we should be free to hold on to any belief. It could be in matters of religion or anything, and we should be also free to express our views as we want. And the person should be free to choose any religion which the person wishes to follow, or any form of worship, means any way in which the person wishes to worship the god, the religion that the person wishes to follow. And the preamble to the Indian Constitution, it clearly tells us that we have freedom of faith, belief and worship, so that there is the unity of the country is not compromised, and we have a strong and united country. Okay, next we move on to equality. And now, what is equality? Equality means treating everyone equal. But there could be no liberty, there could be no freedom till the time there is equality. And that is why the preamble to the Indian Constitution, it lays emphasis on equality along with liberty. All right, so there can be no real freedom without equality, and so the preamble, it lays stress on equality along with freedom. And so our constitution, it has done away with all the inequalities which are based on gender, race, religion, caste, color. And now all of us are equal before law, and all of us have equal opportunities for our advancement. All right, we'll do one more topic, and the next is federation. Our constitution, they have provided for a federal form of government. Now, what is federal form of government? It means having a government at more than one level. So the responsibility of governing the country in our country has been divided. Now, earlier it has been divided into two: the central government for the entire country, and the state governments to rule over the different states. But later on, a third level in the form of local self-governing bodies, it was also included in our system. Now, the president, he is the titular head, means the nominal head. He has the title of being the head of the country, and the prime minister, he is the head of the government, and this is what we're talking at the central level. Whereas the parliament, it makes the laws. And if we talk about state level, then the governor is the nominal head at the state level, and the chief minister, he heads the government, while the Vidhan Sabha, it makes the laws at the state level. And our country has been divided into 28 states and 8 union territories, and this includes the national territory of Delhi for the purpose of administration. And the powers and the functions of the central government and the state governments, they have been clearly defined in the constitution of our country. Okay.